What's up, YouTube? No. What's up, YouTube? No. Bonjour. Comment allez-vous, YouTube? No. What's up? YouTube? No. Hi, YouTube. It's your girl, Ash, loving life. No. What's up, YouTube? No, that was too much like the first video. What's up, YouTube? No. Hi guys, this video is going to be broken down into two parts. In the first part, I'm going to tell you 3 ways you can get a credit card. And in the second part, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to increase your credit score tremendously. Okay, so let's get into part number 1. Okay, one way you can get a credit card is applying for a secured credit card. With a secured credit card, you're going to have to put down a refundable deposit, and in return, they're going to give you a credit card with that same amount of your deposit. For example, if I get approved for a secured credit card through my bank or my credit card company, I'm going to give them, let's say, $300. And in return, they're going to give me a credit card with $300. And I'm going to treat that secured credit card as a real credit card because it's going to get reported to the credit bureau as a real credit card. And if you ever decide to close that account, you will get your deposit back. That's one way you can get a credit card. And with an unsecured credit card, it's basically you don't put down a deposit. Okay, so the second way you can get a credit card is doing the shopping cart trick. And with the shopping cart trick, you're basically tricking the system into pre-approving you for a retail card. You have to do it on a computer, and it's a lot of steps you have to do, but it does work. All you have to do is Google shopping cart trick or watch videos on YouTube on how to do it. But it's pretty easy and it does work because I did it with an ex who couldn't get approved for a secured credit card. We did the shopping cart trick for Victoria's Secret. And basically what it is, you put a whole bunch of stuff in your cart, and as you're about to check out, it's going to pop up that you've been pre-approved for a credit card. You do not have to make the purchase. You just have to approve the credit card and follow the steps. And they're going to send you a credit card in the mail for that company. And I know Victoria's Secret does it. I know Overstock does it. I know Wayfair does it. PacSun. And it's a lot of other retail companies that allow you to do it. You just have to make sure you follow the steps to the T. Okay? But it does work, and that's one way you can get a credit card, and you don't have to put down a deposit, and it's not illegal or anything like that. And it doesn't pull a hard inquiry on your credit report, which is a good thing as well. Okay, so that's number 2, is doing the shopping cart trick. Okay, so you have 1, the secured credit card, and 2, the shopping cart trick. And let's go into the third way. Okay, so the third way you can get a credit card is becoming an authorized user on someone else's credit card. And basically what this is they will add you to their credit card, and it will show up on your credit report as an authorized user. So if they pay their bill on time, they have a high credit limit, they never miss the payment, it's going to transfer to your credit score, which will initially increase your credit score and allow other credit card companies to approve you for a credit card. And you want to make sure that this is somebody you trust, because you do have to give up your social security number. And you want to also make sure it's somebody that has a good credit history. Usually like a grandparent, a parent, a sibling, usually a family member, okay? And just make sure that this is someone who you know will keep up their credit at all times. Never late, never none of that. Because if they miss a payment, it's going to show up on your credit score as well. But that's another way you can get a credit card. And with that, they don't have to necessarily give you the credit card. They can just add you to their account, and it can just show up on your credit score as an authorized user. That's another way. I did that with my little brother, and so I added him to one of my credit cards. And basically, since I was paying my bill on time, I had a good credit limit and all that stuff, he was getting a higher credit score because of what I was doing, okay? So yeah, that's the third way, is becoming an authorized user. Now, it's probably other ways you can get a credit card, but those are 3 ways I know that I have tried, that have worked for me or for a family member or a net. Okay, so let's get into the tips. Tip number 1, you want to make sure that your credit utilization stays under 30%. And credit utilization is basically the credit you owe divided by your credit limit. For instance, if you have a credit card that has $300 on it, you want to make sure that you do not spend no more than $90 of that credit card. $90 of $300 is 30%. Your credit utilization makes up 30% of your credit score. That's a big chunk of your credit score. So you can keep your credit utilization 30% or under, it's going to increase your credit score tremendously. Okay? Tip number 2, you want to make sure you pay your bill on time. On time. Paying your bill on time, or any of your bills, not just your credit card bills, any of your bills that is being reported to the credit bureau, it makes up 35% of your credit score. 35. That's a big chunk. And if you're late or you miss a payment, it's going to stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. So you want to make sure that you're not late or you miss the payment. But you do have 30 days to be late on your bill before it actually gets reported to the credit bureau. Okay, so don't panic if you're a couple days late. It's not going to get reported to the credit bureau right away. You have to be at least 30 days in order for that company to report it to the credit bureau. So if your credit payment is 35% and your credit utilization is 30%, that makes up half of your credit score. So if you do those two things, you will see an increase in your credit score tremendously. Those two things makes up half of your credit score. So make sure that your credit utilization stays under 30% and that you make your payment on time. And this is another trick. Do not wait till your payment date to make your bill. Try making your payment on your closing date. Your closing date is a little different from your actual payment date. You can call your credit card company, or you can look on your billing statement and see when is your closing date, because your closing date is what actually gets reported to the credit bureau, not your payment date, your closing date. So if your credit utilization is under 30%, by the time you pay your bill on that closing date, you in there, you are good. Okay, so look into paying your bill on your closing date, or if your bill is over 30% by the time your closing date, just pay it down 30% on by your closing date. Those two things right there, you're gonna see a big increase in your credit report. I'm here to tell you. Your girl here to tell you. Okay, so those 2 tips, those are top tips. Now I'm gonna give you 3 more tips now, but if you don't do those top 2 tips, don't be looking crazy, be like, Ash Loving Life, I don't see no increase. You have to do those 2 tips first. Okay, so let's get into tip number 3. Tip number 3, you want to make sure that you raise your credit limits. Okay, I talked a lot about this in my first video, so if you haven't seen my first video, go ahead and watch that. You want to make sure you raise your credit limits because ultimately it brings your utilization down if you do it hand in hand. So if your credit card has $3,000 on it and you ask for an increase and they give you an increase and you're still spending the same amount as before, guess what? Your credit utilization is going to go down. So make sure that you ask for increases if you're able to maintain the increase. Now, don't ask for an increase and they give you $5,000 and then you go out and spend $5,000 extra. You know what I'm saying? That defeats the purpose. So make sure if you can maintain it that you increase your credit limits. That's tip number 3. Okay. Tip number 4. You want to make sure that you have a good credit history. And what this is, that you keep your credit cards open. Okay, so for instance, if you have that secured credit card, and of course you may want your deposit back, but in order for you to get your deposit back, you have to close that account. No, you don't want to do that right away. You want to keep your credit cards open as long as possible, because if I have a credit card that I've had for 7 years and it's being reported on my credit report, that looks good. Your credit history makes up 15%. Those 15% can boost your credit score. So you want to make sure that you keep your cards open. Don't just close your cards because, oh, you don't use it or for whatever reason. Just make sure you keep your cards open, because your credit history plays a part in your credit score, and that can help boost your credit score. And it looks good to say you have a card for 10 years, or you know what I'm saying, you have had a card for a certain amount of years. It looks good. Also with that, you want to have a mixture of different types of credit, not just credit cards. You want to have, you know, your car loans, regular loans, your mortgage, all that stuff is a mix of different types of credit. That also plays a part in your credit score, and it shows on your credit report. So make sure that you keep those things open, and that if you do decide to close it, have a good reason, and make sure that you still have other cards or other loans that are still standing. Tip number 5, you want to make sure that you check your credit report for any errors. I know this may sound a little common sense, but it's a lot of times we have errors on our report and we're looking like, where did this come from? I don't remember this. Contact these people so you can get these things removed. They do have a certain amount of time to respond, but you cleaning off your credit report will boost your credit score tremendously. Okay? So that was my last tip. I appreciate you for watching this video. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and leave your girl a comment. Okay? And I hope you use this video to increase your credit score, or even to get a credit card. I wish you the best in your credit journey, your credit history, your credit report, all of that credit stuff. Make sure you are responsible. Okay? Responsible. Make sure you're responsible, okay, guys? Because if you tune into my next video, I'm going to tell you how I wasn't responsible and what happened to my credit score, what happened to my credit score. Tears, y'all. Tears. So make sure you're responsible. Use these tips wisely. Until next time, guys. Whatever, y'all. See y'all next time.